on this, because I just know when I went around campaigning and stuff, I do have quite a bit of like the business owners' thoughts on different things. And I mean, if all of them are for it, I completely agree with what the citizens want. I think like talking to, Mr. Kiefer and maybe seeing if the train can like use his parking facility and stuff like that before you just go and put up signs down there.
Yeah, and that's one thing I have been talking, I've talked to Mike at the train, and, I think he understands the need too. Because if you don't do something to limit it, that's what's going to happen with a lot of people that are coming in and just park all day. And then it really restricts people, or even employees parking there all day. So you've got to do something to kind of get them off it. But I mean, I think we talked about a workshop, not a town hall, but a workshop.
I think in the area of public education and transparency. I went to the strategic planning meeting last week, and I received one, I don't know when, we all did, today or yesterday from the county or somewhere. Was that today or yesterday? Anyway, it's been in the last 24 hours, and every single one, going back to the plan of 2017, 18, and the 2020 plan, and all the rest of the strategic plans, have all harped on parking. But before we put up a sign, I think Christie's right. We have to have a public, I know you've had 15 of them. You've had 20 of them. I've read the things, I've listened to the CD that I think somebody brought me about public parking and everything. But so that we don't appear arbitrary and capricious, the more input and buy-in we get, I think the better off we are. And that's why I mentioned the restaurant owners, and Christie mentions the store owners. But I think that I would invite the business owners and the restaurant owners to sit down here and be heard.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't believe anybody's gonna make a decision before we.
No, I understand, but I'm just saying.
This is a problem that's been going on forever.
I think this needs to, you got, by the end of March, you gotta get those railroad ties up, you gotta get them back down again, you gotta do something about the water sewer, and March gets train going again, and so we don't have a long time.
No.
We got 45 to 60 days. If you guys want, we got forever, really, because we haven't fixed it yet. But I think in the next 45 to 60 days, we'll sit down with the stakeholders and listen to them.
Yeah, I would think.
Then we're going to have to do what we think is right.
And we were talking
Listen
even
to them.
next week, maybe.
And I agree with that. I think that's the proper way to approach this. But the bottom line is, we've got to try to fix this problem.
We've got to do something.
We have to fix it. We can't be that council that goes on another 4 years and never fixes
That's
the
what I
problem.
said. I think we got to bite the bullet, but I like to bite the bullet after everybody's had their say.
And I will tell you too,
Exactly.
one of the issues that's been going on previously was the lack of parking. And I will say again, thank you to all of you who have stepped up and helped us, because we've got it now. We have the private parking. We're working on that. And that was the issue before, because if you limit parking or you do this, where are people going to park? The employees are doing it.
I know you talk to the train people, but I know people buy their train tickets online, some of them. Can that online train ticket say with parking?
That's what I would love for us to schedule a meeting.
Then they've got to opt out of the parking.
Yeah.
And then they opt into the parking, they go to that nice lot of, he's got plenty of space, so they can, the parking owners can fix that, so that they don't
Totally
preferentially go to somebody else's lot.
And a lot of people want to know
You know, I
the
think
place
if you
that they're
put,
going to
I
park
think if
before
you
they go there.
made it where you click on to buy tickets, you're buying a ticket, you're paying $5 or whatever
$10
the cost would be
to the train, $10
for a chip to get into one of those two parking lots.
Yeah, I agree. I think that would be a
It's a
great
good
idea.
opportunity for
Good, let's get the train people to come to our public hearing.
Yes.
Anytime you buy a ticket to an event, say in Atlanta, to a ball game, anything, you always you have to buy the parking along
True.
with that. And it's just the way it is.
I agree.
And I would think that people who come here to ride the train would expect that.
Yeah, I think it would help everyone.
But just
Train
everybody,
people have been asked before to do
Yeah.
that. The train people in the past, now maybe they'll change their mind now, they said they don't want to
Caesar.
change the parking.
Come up and talk loud so it gets in the minutes. You're gonna come back up and then
Do I?
anyway.
We've had the
Identify
train,
yourself for the minutes.
Caesar Martinez, man at large. We've asked the train before, and what they've told us before was that they don't want to be in a parking business. So that's why they didn't want to add another charge onto their ticket. Now, that was probably 3 years ago when we did that. So it could be they changed their mind or something else.
They've been bought out by them.
Or they are, we can leverage them to change their minds.
And I think they're very open right now because I have been discussing with Mike.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
They could
I think
change
they
their
are.
mind, but we've gone down that road and they said they didn't want to be.
I believe that you can leverage that by saying, if we ticket your riders, it's going to be bad publicity for you. And if you don't make parking available in a legal spot for somebody that's going to be on your train, they will be ticketed.
No, I think it's a
And
great
I think
idea
that,
to do it.
and
At a
for
minimum-
their goodwill, they are going to want to change their behavior.
No, I agree with that. At a minimum, they should have parking areas listed on their website so people know where they
Where they know where they can park.
Yeah,
I agree with
that's,
that.
at a minimum, they should be able to do
If you
that.
do not have limited parking, there's no way to control that.
Good. I mean, I don't know what the charge ought to be. You got the owners here, it'd be $5
Mr.
a
Keefer's gonna
day.
step to the podium
I don't know what the
and speak
numbers
in just a
should be,
moment.
but there ought to be a number, and it ought to be reasonable, because we want those people to come down.
There's a motion for me to remove.
So anyway, I'm just throwing that out there.
Thank you, Susan.
Mhm.
John Kiefer, and as previously mentioned, owner of the parking lot across the street. We had conversations with the train folks, as Susan had mentioned, 3 years ago, 2 years ago. Those conversations broke down. From our perspective, if you have 2 or 3 people that ride to Blue Ridge to take a train ride, they could add $2 or $3 to the cost of the ticket and pay for a $5 parking spot and accommodate their clients in a private lot. I think it would add at most $2 or $3 to an individual train ticket. That was our thought. If those conversations didn't go anywhere, then we're not interested in Susan, as Susan had mentioned, in supporting private parking. So if you're willing to take on this issue, I think those conversations can start back up again. That's the logical solution.
Agree.
Do you charge for your parking, Mr. Kiefer?
Yes, sir, we do.
You do. What do you charge?
Weekdays, $1 an hour, $5.
Okay.
Special events, $10 per hour.
But $5 is your all-day fee.
It is.
Okay.
It's $1 an hour.
$10 is your
And that's
special events and
obviously
weekends?
Subject to change. I'm sorry?
$10 is your special events and weekends?
It is, it's
Yeah.
for, I'm not gonna
That's
say
plenty
say that.
reasonable.
How many spots is in your,
We have 186 plus some Circuit Street parking, but we added 200 spaces.
And with the other paid parking lots, private parking lots, that should be enough for the,
Thank you.
train ride.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Yes.
Yeah. But the thing is that without limited parking, when you've got paid parking lots,
Yeah,
they are not going to go to the paid parking lots.
and that has been, even with our studies that we've done in the past, historically, that's what the experts have said. You've got to get your prime parking kind of under control,
Managed.
because that's where people are going to navigate faster, and then, but you've got to make that, you've got to limit it somehow. Or you charge parking, pay parking there, and you charge more than you do on the outskirts. There are kind of 2 options to do with that.
Well, and that's really it, so, three options.
And I kind of like I like the limited because it does allow our citizens to, to have the ability to go downtown, especially during the daytime, and, and be able to get a parking space.
So what the council's got to decide here, 3 options, doing nothing for 10 years, and I'm absolutely not in favor of that. Limited parking or paid parking, so.
Chuck, do you have anything on the books for parking?
I think we need to have.
As far as
We don't.
any ordinances?
We don't.
We don't have anything as far as enforcing the ordinances when we do apply whatever solution
So,
we believe is correct?
We'll have to.
That's what we will have to do.
Fine and to enforce it and, yeah.
I think you're watching the dominoes fall over, it's gonna happen.
Yep.
But I think the next thing, as you say, is public meetings to get people.
So we have a public meeting, we can determine, hopefully within the next week or so, we can do that, and then we can figure out what we're doing, and then allow Mr. Connerly, get him started on the ordinances, and we have a first, second reading, get everything implemented, and go from there.
And you're gonna talk to
Yeah.
the train.
Yes, I have been talking.
Well, I understand,
Yep,
right?
yep.
You'll talk to the trainee
Yeah.
after they've heard the.
Oh, yes, definitely.
And it's not gonna be in concrete, I don't believe, Doc, because if we do come to a resolution and this is what we're gonna do, and we see that it don't work, we can always change it or go a different route. So it's not anything that's gonna be permanent. I think the enforcement's gonna be the thing that's gonna be permanent, moving forward. But we need to get a resolution, as Angie said, we can't sit here another 10 years and not do something about the parking.
And the clock's ticking, the train starts the third weekend of March.
And I think
You
we're
can't just
all,
do it that
We're-
way.
we're-
as Mr. Rowley said, we are all in agreement to do that. We'll just take the, the correct process and we'll do this meeting, try to have a meeting very quickly, maybe next week, and then we'll get.
We'll have a lot more.
Well, now, next week,
what
we're
that
gonna be in
resolution-
school.
We'll have a lot
That's
more.
right, you
we'll
guys
have a
are in
lot
school.
more-
We're in school next week,
I
Doc.
forgot, you guys from your training, so maybe.
We're
the
in school
following-
next week.
We don't have to be there. Are
No,
you
you
in school?
do. No, I'm not.
Good.
But I would like for you guys to be
You
here.
and the city attorney can be good.
Oh, good, thanks. Yeah, we will, we'll wait till you guys break out. I forgot about your 4-day training next week, so we'll do it the following week. But get that done as quickly as possible, and then we'll move forward. Okay, let's
Actually,
move on.
publish the map for the public meeting.
Oh, yes, we will. And we'll put that on our website too, so we'll get that out.
So how will the business owners know, or the business people know?
Come up to the
Yeah,
podium.
we'll let you,
Come up to the podium. Come speak to us.
Yeah, and Christina's been working on getting the emails from all the business owners downtown, and so that was gonna be part of the process to email everybody and let them know what the plan is, or the potential plan.
Go ahead and
I'm
identify
entering
yourself,
Powell,
Master.
Resistance Fund. Who do I get, how do we give our emails? Are they coming around to the business owners? Is that what? they're
Well,
doing?
she's, what is it, the.
so as we're getting business
the city
license,
permits or something,
Yeah,
business
yeah.
licenses.
So we're
as
getting them.
as people renews, or she's gonna get them if she don't already have them, but.
and then we're also gonna get with Caesar to get the ones he has, and then one of our previous council members, Nathan Fitz, actually has a big list of, a lot of the people
Because
who
not
are
everyone's
businesses.
on with Caesar.
Oh, that's why
That's why.
that's why we were working on
So
getting
that's
some.
what I'm
emails.
curious, is how
Yeah.
everybody will know, so they can attend the meeting.
Oh, no,
if they
it will be,
choose to.
yeah, no, it will be advertised, and it will be,
Will
we'll
it be
follow
in
the
the paper?
guidelines. Oh, I'm sure, can you put it in the paper? We'll determine a date, and then, okay, we'll do a special call, if y'all are in town.
Yeah, it needs to be an open meeting for anybody that wants to
Yeah,
attend.
yeah, it would have to
And
be,
if they don't attend, and too bad, whatever y'all do.
yeah,
So,
okay.
will we be able to speak about this, how we personally feel about this?
Well, sure. I don't think we're
That'll
gonna
be
move
the purpose
forward
of
with
the
anything without the public's
Okay.
input.
Mhm.
I mean, this is something going on for a long time, Angelina, and we need to get
Been
it
down there a
fixed.
long time too, Jack.
We have,
I know.
and so we're gonna give the public an opportunity. I think that's the only way we can do this.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right, so we'll get that set up, and then I'll get you a date, and we'll go from there when we figure out. Okay, so there are no reports to give out at this time, so moving on to public comments. Downtown Development Authority, Caesar. Are you giving an update on that this time, or
Yeah, I don't see
is he here?
Russell here, so I'll just put it. All right. Cesar Martinez, Vice Chair of the Downtown Development Authority. We finally have a full board, so thank you very much. It's nice to have. The biggest thing that I need to talk to you guys about is our next meeting is March 7th. If you could write that down, because we have to annually have a meeting with the city council. And in that meeting, we will discuss the projects that are ongoing right now, and also talk about whatever the city council thinks that the DDA can do to help you guys do your business. Are there projects that you'd like us to tackle? Those are the kind of conversations we want to have. So at that meeting, just so you know, that meeting generally should happen in January, but because of the turnover in the city council and the fact that we didn't have a chairman at that time, we pushed it off for a couple of months. So that March 7th meeting will be an important meeting. It's one that we are, if you look at the bylaws, we need to have that. So that's for that. Okay? Putting on my Blue Ridge Business Association hat, I'm also president of the Business Association. So the biggest news we have, of course, is this Sunday is the 11th annual Fire and Ice Festival in the downtown park. It is a little short this year of chili contestants. A lot of it having to do with COVID related, where we don't have a single restaurant right now that, all of our restaurants are basically either said they can't do it or pulled back, simply because they don't have enough people to staff their own restaurants, let alone staff a chili band. So because of that, we're a little short of some of our chili contestants. So if anybody has a hankering to get out there, it's only 15 gallons. And just so you know, this year our People's Choice Award is $1,000. So,
Did you say it's on Saturday or Sunday?
Saturday.
Saturday, okay.
We have right now, just so you know, the ice carving will be going on in the park. We have over 30 ice carvings that will be distributed around town. We're going to be giving out little maps so that people can follow them, go around and see where they are, which is really pretty cool. We have a lot of food vendors. We have 3 beer trucks. We have a fire dancer that's going to be there. There's somebody who's going to paint kids' faces. So it'll be a great time. It'll be really good. Generally speaking, this event draws 5,000 to 6,000 people in town. So hopefully we'll get a lot of people. Also, I just want to comment again. Train starts March 5th.
Oh, it is?
That's their first run.
Wow, okay,
So it's early.
we better be done it.
Just to let you know.
Wow.
The other thing I'll tell you is that there was a lot of work done on parking through the DDA when the DDA had it, including several town meetings and that type of thing. So I would invite you to look at some of those records. Because there was 2 that I was involved with that basically was open to the public in general, including businesses, and they got a lot of their. The other thing that you will find is limited time parking in downtown is a great idea. The other part of that would be paid parking. Paid parking really is not feasible until we fix internet and telephone reception downtown. The DDA is working on that right now too. You'll find out about that on our site. But if you do want to do paid parking in downtown, you need to fix Wi-Fi and telephone.
Well, I hope, DDA's working on that though, aren't they?
They are.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
You know, they're there. That's, unless anybody has questions, that's all I have.
Okay, thank you. We look forward to this weekend.
Good.
Should be fun.
And I just want to clarify now, we're gonna have this to get people's thoughts and stuff, but we basically have got a plan, and we've gotta do something, we know that. That's
Yes.
what we're planning on doing, so, okay.
So it's gonna be
It's gonna be
limited,
spelled out.
it's gonna be limited or paid.
So, yes.
That's pretty much, yeah, all right.
Okay,
I'll just leave it like it is.
Harold, let me get back on.
And you can
Harold
always
Michael.
go to pay after limited too. if you want to do that.
I'm not sure, I don't think a lot of people like paying.
Okay, Mr. Michael,
Yeah.
you're here to discuss charging stations for electric vehicles.
I'm a big fan of electric charging stations.
Can you identify yourself?
I'm Harold Michael.
So it's in the-
I'm sorry.
It's got to get into the recording.
Minutes.
Right, which you introduced me as Harold Michael, so I'll introduce myself again as Harold Michael. But anyway, I just wanted to take this opportunity to thank you for allowing me to speak. I've been an electric vehicle owner for over 2 years, and I've noticed there's a lot of problems with infrastructure. Basically, there is no infrastructure. The only one I know, I moved here about 3 years ago, and the only place I know is Harris Casino. They have about 24 charging stations over there. The demand is growing exponentially. Statistics I've seen, it's about 30% a year. And this is why I'm bringing to the city council about putting some electric charging stations in the area. I've checked from Blue Ridge all the way to Murphy, nothing available whatsoever. The outlook for electric vehicles is great. As you noticed, the Super Bowl, there's been several electric vehicle charging companies going forward. GM has been talking. Also, you know, or may not know, that Rivian is putting a multi-billion-dollar factory outside of Atlanta, which is going to be producing a lot of vehicles in the next 2 or 3 years. But the problem is there is no infrastructure. Nobody's building enough infrastructure at the time. I think some of the benefits for the city of Blue Ridge would be, this is an opportunity to make money. I think it's an underserved market. It's a big future for tourism. The city has a lot of tourism. A lot of people from Atlanta and other areas will be coming here, and they may not come here because if they don't have enough electricity to make it from point A to point B, then it's going to be detrimental. So I know it's expensive to put the funding in here, but there is federal and state and energy company grants that are available. I've spoken to Blue Ridge Electric over in Young Harris, and I talked to the downtown development in Blairsville, and to my knowledge, I've spoken to several people at the Blue Ridge, and they said that they're going to put an electric charging station, a level 3 in Blairsville.
Okay, 3 minutes is up.
I'm sorry?
It's 3-minute time limit.
Oh,
Is it that,
okay.
okay, I didn't know if anyone was taking. Yes. Hey, I would like to tell you, Mr. Michael, though, we are working with Gilmer County and Pickens County on a grant. And this is something that was started, and it ended up, they dropped out this year, but I met with, Eric Sork and I met with the Northwest Regional Commission, and that's something they're going to pursue again. Gilmer County actually reached out to me after the election, and so I told them we do want to participate, but it would be a multi-county with us, Gilmer, and Pickens.
Right.
So we do see something happening in the future with them, so
Could I ask you
that would be.
Sure.
a question? I'm a novice at this, but there is a fee when you plug into a publicly located
That
charging
is
station,
correct.
correct?
Yes.
And that fee, it has a profit in there in addition to what is paid for the electricity, correct? And the ones that I am familiar with, a lot of them are in paid parking garages and facilities.
Yeah, they can put them basically
Yeah, I understand, but you've got hardly a parking garage you go into in Atlanta, even at the hospital, it does not have charging stations in the paid parking area. Now, there are others that aren't, I'm sure.
Correct.
But I agree that we need to have something available for the people who drive electrical vehicles, and there'll be more in the future. The idea of
Right. Well,
whether the city puts them somewhere and makes a profit on it, and a profit in our parking garage, do we have the electrical capacity in Blue Ridge?
oh, yeah.
Okay, that's all, that's one thing.
Yeah, I mean,
And then can you give me an idea of what the profit is on one machine per one machine?
Well,
In
that,
a place that
I
gets
can't
pretty
give you an
decent.
exact number
No, I'm
because
just ballpark.
it varies. I mean, it varies from, company to company, but it's usually like 50%,
And what are the cost of these, mister?
The cost
Mr.
of
Michael, what are the cost of these?
chargers,
Mhm.
that varies also. Different utility companies can charge different amounts. I don't know the exact numbers. It could be $10,000, it could be $20,000. It depends on the level of charging that they have, the capacity, the speed. Basically, I think that you need a minimum of a level 3, level 4 charger, which is 250 kilowatt to 350 kilowatt, because anything less than that, you're wasting your time, because when people come here to visit or shop or eat out, whatever, they need to be able to charge within 30 to 60 minutes. After that, 30 to 60 minutes at a 250 to 350 kilowatt will give you roughly a 100-mile range. So that would it's not to charge a vehicle to 100% capacity, or to be left for an overnight kind of thing.
And I do know, right, it's just a short term.
Right.
Yeah, just a.
Yeah.
So you have 2 spaces in your,
Not yet, but we are anticipating, we're gonna have 2.
okay, good. And I know Hampton Inn they have 2 or 3, they're in the back, but I don't know if they're just for their,
Well, see,
I'm not sure, do you know?
Well, I think anybody who has the app can use them.
Yeah,
They
okay.
download the app on their phone, and
Okay.
they can pay for it.
Right,
So
a
you don't
lot,
really
a lot
have to
of
be
these,
staying-
there are several apps that you
Yeah.
can get from different manufacturers that tell you, Tesla has it built into their car, so you can type it in and it will tell you the closest.
Well, I will tell you, it is something we're looking at, and we'll be discussing more as we get details, but we appreciate you bringing it further to our attention.
Oh, sure,
So
yeah,
Thank you so
like I
much.
said, I'm so excited
Yeah,
that
thank
Blairsville's
you.
getting the
I-
first
so,
level
yes.
3 in the area.
Yes,
And
that's
it's,
very
It's
good.
interesting, Ducktown has some.
Oh, do they?
On Main Street,
Oh,
yes.
wow. So they're ahead of us.
who's that?
Ducktown.
It was at their city hall, they've moved
Oh,
to
wow.
that city hall now.
So we definitely need to
Yes,
catch up.
yes.
So. Okay, but thank you so
Oh, sure.
much. We'll
Thank you.
certainly looking into all that.
Okay,
So thank you. Okay, John Tucker. Is John Tucker here? He was here to discuss a liquor store. Nope. Okay. So we do need to go into executive session.
Let
So
me ask you, do you
yes.
plan to make a statement about the process and procedure for telling the city about potholes, trees, and road stuff?
Well,
Yes or no?
you know, I could go back to reports and do that. I'm not sure, it's not on the agenda, but we do have a reports section. Can we go back to that? Okay, so so we will go back to item number 9, and I can give a report on that. So we do have a process. We've had some instances where we've had people call in to individual council members or even department heads. It's better if there is an issue that you see a pothole, if you see a tree down, if you see anything going, if you see water run off that looks like it could be a water leak, call City Hall, because we keep a record of all calls that are coming in. And, you know, that way we have a paper trail to see if these things have gotten corrected. I know this happened a couple of weeks ago. We had a situation where we had someone call, but they didn't call the city about a sewer issue. So we've got to make sure that we are keeping a paper trail of these things. So if the paper would please just identify that, people can call City Hall, we'll have a paper trail, they'll get it to the correct department immediately. We have an after hours number, and it's on our website. It's also, if you call City Hall, it will give you the after hours number if you have any issue with anything after hours. So there is a process, and that's kind of what, we would ask the public to do that, to make sure that the issues do get noticed and they're corrected. And we can identify, hey, it's been checked off the list. Yes?
A couple weeks ago, I think I called you about the bathrooms down.
Yes, you did.
Caesar, come on up.
And things like that, you can call me on the weekends, because it's probably better to call me, but,
Do I identify?
No, just,
Yeah, that one always worries me because the
Yes.
bathrooms downtown are notoriously
Yeah.
bad. And coming up on the season, that'll be here in a few months, bathrooms are a whole other agenda. I think
Yes.
that-
We are working on that.
But making sure that they're clean and
Yes.
and flowing and all that. kind of stuff.
flowing is the best.
But when I
That was-
have customers coming in complaining about it to my store, that makes me worried.
Yeah, Caesar called me a couple of weekends ago, and I think one had frozen or whatever, but that would be fine too. And you can also call the after hours number, because that would go, to our water or sewer department or street department, and then they would come out and correct, work on that. So, I don't mind if you call me, but there is a good procedure.
I'm glad you brought that up. If there's a crime, you call 911. You don't call Jackie, you don't call Johnny. And the fact that you have a relationship with the mayor is a great thing, but you can't have 1,500 citizens calling the mayor about the rents to
True.
electric. So basically, the fact that you did that's fine, but that's not the way to do it. You also should call the city. Even and Caesar should call the city, because there's a process.
Agreed. I will say though, that when I called you, I think it was after hours.
It was.
It was after
But
hours.
I'm just saying, Caesar, you should call the city, and if there's a special reason not to, fine. But I mean, basically, we've got to follow the rules. And if you don't call the city, we're telling our city employees, we don't trust them to do the work. Now, if you call Rhonda and she's in her car going somewhere, now, I'm not going to, but I'm going to forget it. So you can
Or I
notify
may be
me in a heartbeat, notify Jack in a heartbeat, and we might forget to do it. So you've lost it, and you put an extra level of administration there, it's not necessary. That's inefficient, and you're an efficiency guy. So by calling the mayor, you've worked the system inefficiently. We don't want to work it inefficiently, we want to work it the way it was designed to work. I mean, I'm picking you because it's better to pick you because you're a strong guy than pick somebody else. But that's the fact that this has been being done forever doesn't mean that it's the right thing to do, that's all I'm trying to say.
Right.
No, but what I would say.
I agree with you, Doc, but we are here to serve the public.
I know,
But I will say,
Yeah, there's got to be
I
a
will
There
say-
process.
has to be a chain of command.
There has to be a
that
process.
normally,
Yeah.
like,
Well,
Caesar, I know that. I just
I'm not
need to
even
make
sure what that number is.
Well, one thing that could happen, we'll say a citizen calls, maybe because they know me or you or whatever, then we just listen to them and say, but would you do me a favor, would you call City Hall in the
Yeah.
morning?
Right.
Oh, yeah,
And
yeah.
report it over there, because they keep log of it, and that way they can make sure it gets taken care of. I might forget.
Right.
I don't disagree with you. I don't disagree with you, Bill.
Okay, good.
All I know is this was after hours,
No, Caesar, I know that.
and bathrooms were a big deal.
Caesar,
Yeah.
that choice just had to be made, had to be made for the
Yeah.
rest of the.
And to continue on that report that we were talking about, back to reports, I've met with the park department. I plan to have the bathrooms cleaned at least 3 to 4 times a day. They'll be rotating between. We have full staff doing that, so if you run into any issues, call the after hours number. I'm just kidding.
Sure.
I'm joking. But we do have people taking care of that for this busy weekend. Okay, we do need to go into executive session, so would someone make a motion to enter into executive?
I'll make a motion, we enter executive
Okay,
session.
do I have a second? Okay, everyone in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay.
That's where she wants to be. Thank you, folks, for coming. How are you doing?
That's great.
Oh, man.
Yes, yes.
There was just a good morning come in. Now, all by herself. No, sir.
It just, it